Squad version 5 just released, and we have a ton of awesome stuff to cover in this pretty big update, including not one, but 2 new factions, which are going to add some interesting gameplay to several maps given their amphibious capability. In addition to that, we have some bug fixes, several new layers, and a couple other things we should talk about. So if you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Now let's dive in. So the first new faction we knew we were getting ahead of time was the People's Liberation Army Navy Marine Corps, or Plan MC. Complete with amphibious vehicles and a blue naval camouflage pattern, this sub-faction of the PLA is a pretty mobile, fast attack group. The Plan MC come with a couple of ZSD variants, including an open-top APC, amphibious logistics vehicle, and an amphibious ZBD IFV. Maybe more interesting is that they don't come with their own MBT. Instead, they get the ZTD-05 mobile gun system. Now, while the ZBD IFV seems pretty typical for a ZBD setup, the ZTD mobile gun system does not replace a tank. It has limited ammo capacity and the armor doesn't quite stand up to a tank. Against many IFVs, it's going to be fine, but be wary about taking on a tank unless you have some element of surprise. Much like the standard PLA faction, these vehicles have a decent amount of speed, and I can see how they'd be really useful in situations where the vehicles are traveling together and rushing certain situations. The Plan MC also has reskinned logistics trucks, armored cars, wheeled IFVs and APCs in the ZBL and ZSL format. They do, however, get a brand new helicopter, the Z8J, which is just a behemoth of a vehicle. Now, across the board, their kits are relatively similar to what we already know. I didn't see anything that wild or different from what you'd expect. I don't think every layer will include the blue camo. I believe that there's an alternative version where they will simply just match the normal PLA camo. However, when you are wearing the blue camo, you are a target. It is easy to see this on just about every map that I've seen thus far, so be wary about positioning and what you're trying to do. While it may reduce team killing, I'm a little bit concerned about kill to death ratios. So the big surprise with this update was the Russian Airborne Forces, also known as the VDV. This faction is also jam-packed with a ton of amphibious vehicles, giving them a lot of range on the battlefield in terms of how they can maneuver their vehicles. They have several BTR variants, which seem like a BTR but with tracks, including the BTRD transport, amphibious logistics, cord APC, and anti-air, which is a sight to behold. They also have an APC version, but we do have to talk about the BMD, which sort of feels like a BTR and a BMP combined. But there's 2 variants in the 1M and the 4M, with the 4M being the one that packs the most punch. While the Plan MC didn't have a dedicated tank, the Russian VDV does have a T-72B3, along with a Sprut SDM-1, which is another mobile gun system similar to the Plan MC ZTD, both of which are amphibious and can pack a punch, unlike some of the other vehicles, but at least they have front corner coax. All these vehicles can be used and they're pretty speedy and they can get around and really cause some chaos, especially on layers where you have a Sprut and a T-72 roaming. But much like the ZTD, the Sprut isn't going to handle much in return. Now, if a tank runs up on it, it is going to be weaker to the tank. It's best to position yourself well, though it can handle several different IFVs. The VDV also have access to their logistics trucks and a BRDM-2, however, we're missing a Tiger. But they do gain an Mi-8 helicopter with a cool gray paint job. But something really exciting is that their kits now include the AK-12 with 9 different variants, including iron sights and some other combinations with different optics. I really enjoyed getting to test out the AK-12. It's a lot of fun, but it is going to take some getting used to, and it has a good sound. Speaking of good sound, we also have the Scout class that comes equipped with the Asval suppressed rifle that sounds really lovely. Not to mention, we also have a Marksman class with the SV-98M bolt-action sniper rifle that is intimidating on a battlefield. My initial impressions of both factions is that they are speedy, they maneuver fairly well, but I'm a little bit mixed on some of the weaponry and tools. I would say that I'm not a huge fan of the mobile gun systems. I feel like they're a target right now. Maybe it's just because they're brand new. You feel just a little bit too susceptible given how much firepower you have. It's like the illusion of a tank with much less armor. I had the most fun with the BMD-4M IFV. It's like a combination of a BTR and a BMP, but it was a really good time and it maneuvers really fast. I was really hoping for a different weapon set for the Plan MC. Unfortunately, it seems to be the same kits. but I am excited to get used to the AK-12. I think these factions offer a unique approach. Similar to the US Marines, they have a little bit of a different setup to them. I think this would be really neat to see how these type of factions play out with the infantry combat overhaul, especially given their speed and the advantage that defenders are going to have when sitting on a point. Now, I'll put the patch notes down below, but you will see that there's a ton of layers added featuring these factions into the rotation of maps. However, there's a big update to Narva, where Narva now has some access to some of the rooftop buildings on the taller apartment buildings, and various POIs have been updated. Additionally, they've added a Narva layer with helicopters, plenty of bug fixes, and if you're interested, they've added some new emotes. So what do you guys think? Drop a comment down below with your thoughts. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.